This happened back when I was in high school. I had a part-time job at Wendy's with a guy I'll call Marcus. He was a couple years older than me, bigger, and had a few rough-looking tattoos on his neck. People said he had come in through a second chance work program. Marcus was always trying to act tough during shifts, needling me for no reason, getting way too close, puffing his chest out, and fake swinging at me. The worst part was when he would step right up, snap his fist forward like he was about to hit me, then laugh and mutter some dumb comment. I got along with almost everyone there, and he didn't seem to start much with other people either, but he and I never clicked. Eventually, the tension between us was so obvious that coworkers were openly wondering when we would finally clash. I kept brushing it off because I really didn't want to lose the job, but that day, things took a different turn. The first incident was with the rear entrance. We had a heavy staff door with a small window, and it could only be opened from inside. Outside, there was just a buzzer. Marcus got stuck out there and clearly ran out of patience fast. Instead of tapping the bell once, he kept hammering the button and holding it down, so the whole back room was filled with one non-stop annoying ring. Everyone was busy, and I was already rushing over with a stack of heavy boxes. Since I was passing by, I tried to let him in. I pushed the door, but it would not budge. I leaned into it, still nothing, and my hands were full. I was in a hurry, so I yelled, "Move back! I'm opening it hard!" But Marcus couldn't hear me over the buzzer. I gave the door a hard kick, movie style, and it cracked open for a second before slamming shut again. I kicked it one more time. The door flew open, and Marcus was standing right behind it, furious, with a banged-up nose. He was trying to look through the peephole right as I pushed the door open. Marcus took the hit badly. His nose got messed up, his face swelled, and he lost it. I immediately started apologizing and backing away, but he came at me like he still wanted a fight. The crew split us up fast. They sent me to the front station to handle fries and told me not to go back until Marcus had been taken to urgent care. A few minutes later came the last part. I was by the fryer, lifting the basket and dumping fries while everyone whispered about what happened at the door. Then Marcus, already on his way out to get checked, came over for one last jab. He did his usual fake out like he was about to swing. I flinched back with the basket still in my hand. I didn't touch him with it, but I forgot there were still hot oil drops on the metal. When I moved, a few drops splashed toward his face and neck. So first, I accidentally injured Marcus when the door swung open, and later a splash of hot oil hit him too, also by accident. Everything turned into a scuffle right away. We both ended up on the floor. I was only trying to keep him away, so for a few seconds he was pressed against the dirty floor before the others separated us. He looked awful. In the end, they still took him to the hospital, and they sent me home. That was basically it. No formal complaint was filed, and management never asked me a single question. They just stopped scheduling me with Marcus. Somehow, I even avoided extra paperwork, even though 2 separate incidents and a messy fight had happened in one day. I felt seriously uneasy about how it all turned out, but part of me could still see why it happened. Both moments were accidents that probably could have been avoided if Marcus had not kept pushing things. Still, the outcome was much harsher than I ever expected. A young woman clipped my car and drove off. Seemingly, someone saw it happen, so the police found her pretty quickly. When they asked if I wanted to file a report, I said yes. It turned out she had no license and no insurance. She tried to talk her way out of it, but the insurance company eventually took her to court. She was put on a payment plan and also got 4 separate tickets. She was about 18 and a single mom, and by the end, I honestly felt bad for her. Edit, I'll add a few details. The damage was minor, a small dent and a long scratch, mostly cosmetic. My deductible was low, but the insurer valued the claim at around $3 grand. The car was more than 10 years old and already had scratches. What really bothered me wasn't the damage. It was that someone hit my car and left. I probably wouldn't have fixed anything if she had stayed. My sister used to hit me pretty often. She had a serious temper problem and could blow up over the smallest thing. Once, I turned on a light while she was trying to sleep, and she roughed me up badly enough that I went to prom covered in bruises. Through all of that, I never struck back. I was a really sensitive kid, and if I ever had, I probably would have cried to my mom afterward, telling her how much I loved my sister and that I did not want to hurt her. After I finished school, she calmed down a little, but the issue never really disappeared. One night, we came home from a small party, and she started in again, furious over something minor. We got back, stepped out of the car, and I said I was going to leave again. She kept saying I was too drunk to drive, even though I had only had 2 or 3 small beers. Then she grabbed the back of my shirt, and I lost my cool. I spun around with my fist up, meaning to knock her hand away or scare her off, but I overdid it. She screamed and dropped to the ground. My sister ran back inside, leaving a trail behind her, and woke our parents. It turned out I had hit her harder than I realized and broken her nose. My parents had a strange reaction. They said that if I finally snapped after all those years, she must have pushed me much too far. I felt terrible, cried, and kept trying to apologize while she was taken to the hospital. Now, I don't feel the same level of guilt. She deliberately ignored the medical bill, apparently hoping she could pressure me into paying it. She still brings it up, saying I ruined her credit and that collectors keep calling about the emergency room charge. I'm not going to cover it. She can treat it as the price of years of bullying. I've got one that fits this topic. My grandfather was very old school, and before my first week at school, he gave me a rough piece of advice. If someone keeps pushing you around, deal with it immediately and don't just take it. During that very first week, one kid kept shoving me and blocking me from getting back to class. I finally lost my temper, slammed him into a fence, knocked him down, and hit him hard enough to break his nose. I almost got expelled over it, until everyone found out that mindset had come from my grandfather. After that, nobody tried me again, and that same kid treated me with respect all the way to graduation. My girlfriend cheated on me. When I confronted her directly and gave her a chance to confess and try to make things right, she denied everything. After we broke up, she actually started the pursuit. At that point, we were 17, so it felt extra dramatic. But I still truly cared about her and was going through a lot. She ended up showing up at my place, and I didn't want any contact, so I made it clear I wasn't taking her back. She didn't accept that. At first, I asked several times, as nicely as I could, for her to leave me alone. When that didn't work, I finally told her off. She disappeared for a while, then came back drunk, picking fights, insulting me, and trying to get under my skin. I did my best not to react. At some point, it completely drained me. I told a couple of people from school what was going on, and they looked into it. She even messed around with my ex's new boyfriend's car. I figured she was just trying to get attention, and that would be the end of it. But it turned out she had a reputation for being awful to other people too. From what I heard later, most people at her school already disliked her, and once the story spread, everyone piled on. People I didn't even know started messaging me asking if it was true. I ignored them, because by then I just wanted to distance myself from the whole mess. Later, friends from that school told me it hadn't died down at all. It actually got worse. Posters with her photo and a summary of what she'd done started showing up around campus. Someone also put her phone number into fake posts, made crude edits of her pictures, and generally took it way too far. In the end, she transferred for her final year. I felt uneasy about it. If I had known it would go that far, maybe I wouldn't have said anything. On the other hand, she had gone after me for months and ignored every chance I gave her to stop. From what people told me, the reaction was also tied to how badly she treated others. So I still don't really know how to feel. I definitely didn't expect it to spiral like that. A friend's husband kept needling me nonstop during a board game night. Eventually, I got tired of it and snapped, "Did nobody teach you basic manners growing up, or what?" Turns out, he was adopted. I had a messy situation with a married coworker. When she thought her husband was close to finding out, she tried to put all the blame on me and made some very serious claims. So I anonymously sent her husband the messages and pictures she had sent me. She ended up losing her job, and her husband tried to get custody of their 2 kids. He even came to our workplace, dropped the printed messages in front of her, and left with the children while they were crying. When we were kids, my friends and I were always pulling harmless pranks on each other. About 10 years ago, I was helping one of them get a small business started. He ordered business cards, and the printing company included a big free batch with the order. We got the dumb idea to mess with another friend and made fake cards using his name and a ridiculous job title, then added a joke slogan at the bottom. We started leaving them around town. For a while, he kept getting weird calls and had no clue why. Almost 2 years later, he spotted one of the cards stuck to a fridge at a party and finally figured it out. He was furious, and even now, a decade later, he still occasionally gets random calls because of it. I honestly feel bad about that one. Years ago, I worked at a big clothing store. One coworker had a habit of giving me friendly pats on the back or grabbing my arm. The problem was that it hurt and felt really uncomfortable. I don't know if she was trying to seem playful or simply didn't realize how annoying it was, but it bothered me a lot. I probably said something about it at the time, though I honestly don't remember now. What I do remember clearly is what happened later. One day I was riding up the escalator and she was standing ahead of me. I caught up to her, stepped alongside her, and as I passed, gave her the same kind of friendly pat on the back, only much harder than I should have. I think I overdid it because she almost lost her balance and looked genuinely startled. After that, she never came close enough to touch me again. A guy on my track team kept walking over and drinking from my bottle. I got sick of it, so one day I brought a root beer I had messed with as a prank. Just like usual, he came over for it, and I even told him, "You know what, Mason, take the whole bottle." That same day, we had a home meet, and he was our best pole vaulter and also part of the relay team. I figured the worst that would happen was that he'd feel a little off and compete worse than usual. But during warm-ups, he just disappeared. He didn't come back for the entire meet.